Back in 2007, a quiet 20-year-old Lionel Messi leaned over a small blue plastic bathtub and carefully helped wash a laughing 5-month-old baby during a UNICEF charity photo shoot. It looked like just another simple picture at the time. Nobody standing there could have imagined what they were actually witnessing, because 19 years later, that same baby would step onto the biggest stage in world football with the chance to face Lionel Messi in a World Cup final. If someone had turned this into a movie script years ago, most people would have laughed and called it way too unbelievable. But somehow, real life delivered an even crazier story. This is the incredible connection between Lionel Messi and Lamine Yamal, and it might be one of the most unbelievable coincidences football has ever seen. That famous photo is where everything truly begins. In December 2007, Barcelona teamed up with UNICEF to create a charity calendar, matching first-team players with local children whose families had been selected through a draw. Yamal's mother brought her baby son to Camp Nou, where young Messi, still far from becoming the legendary 8-time Ballon d'Or winner,
at 39 years old, is still the best player in the tournament,
was asked to pose while helping bathe a child he had never met before. At the time, Messi was simply a talented young player trying to earn his place in a squad filled with bigger names. Like hundreds of other charity photos, this one quietly disappeared into the archives and was almost completely forgotten for nearly 2 decades. Then everything changed in 2024. When Lamine Yamal burst onto the world stage and his father shared the picture online with 4 unforgettable words: the beginning of 2 legends. Out of every player and child paired together for that calendar, fate connected one of football's greatest icons with the young talent many now see as the next player ready to carry the spotlight. Photographer Joan Monfort later described the picture as a true one-in-a-million moment, saying that destiny seems to play a part in stories like this. And that's what makes this photo so much bigger than a sweet memory. The surprises didn't end with that little blue bathtub. They only kept growing. The more you look at Messi and Lamine Yamal, the harder it is to ignore the similarities. Both came through Barcelona's famous La Masia Academy. Both are left-footed attacking players. Both reached the senior team while they were still unbelievably young teenagers. Both love playing on the right wing before cutting inside onto that dangerous left foot. The connections just keep stacking up. Yamal now wears Barcelona's legendary number 10 shirt, the same number Messi made famous, and many people see him as the club's brightest young star, carrying that legacy forward. On top of that, both players have served as UNICEF Goodwill Ambassadors, the very same organization that brought them together for that unforgettable photo years earlier. Think about that for a second. The charity that captured that moment with a baby and a young Messi is now an organization they have both proudly represented. After hearing all of that, it's easy to see why so many football fans talk about destiny instead of luck. The UNICEF connection goes far beyond a single photograph. Messi has supported the organization since 2004, became a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador in 2010, and even traveled to Haiti after the devastating earthquake to help bring attention to children facing incredibly difficult circumstances. It's a commitment he has continued for many years. This year, Lamine Yamal stepped into that very same UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador role, using his growing platform to support every child's right to play and enjoy a safe childhood. When he explained why that mission meant so much to him, he spoke about growing up with very little, just his family, a football, a local park, and a dream. It's a story that reflects the simple beginnings shared by so many young players chasing a chance to succeed. When you put it all together, the picture becomes even more remarkable. 2 young boys from different generations, 1 small blue bathtub, 1 charity, nearly 2 decades apart. The story almost feels too incredible to be real. Then there's another moment that made football fans stop and pay attention. In 2024, Messi was asked which young player reminded him the most of himself. He didn't take long to answer. He pointed to Yamal and said that, because of his age and everything still ahead of him, without a doubt, it's him for me, too. Hearing words like that from one of football's greatest players carries real weight. Out of all the exciting young talents in the game, Messi highlighted the same child he had unknowingly shared that unforgettable charity photo with years earlier. It's the kind of connection that makes people look back at that old picture in a completely different way. Few people have witnessed both stories up close, like Barcelona legend Xavi. He played alongside Messi during one of the club's greatest eras, and years later, he was the coach who handed Yamal his first team debut. Xavi has said he first started hearing excited talk around Barcelona about a special young talent in almost the exact same way people once spoke about a young Argentine named Leo Messi. The comparisons weren't about creating pressure. They were about the excitement surrounding a rare talent. When Xavi brought Yamal onto the pitch at just 15 years old, he expected to calm a nervous teenager before one of the biggest moments of his life. Instead, he found someone completely relaxed. Xavi later said it almost felt as if the youngster's heartbeat never changed. As he explained, like Messi, he knows he is different. Before delivering a quote that would stay with football fans, as anticipation continued to build around this remarkable story, Xavi believes the next 15 to 20 years could belong to Lamine Yamal. At the same time, he's careful not to say the two players are exactly alike. Messi attacked defenders with incredible directness, almost like he could see the game one step ahead of everyone else. Yamal brings a different style, relying more on quick dribbling, creativity, and confidence to unlock defenses. But in Xavi's eyes, the biggest similarity isn't their playing style, it's their mindset. Both step onto the pitch believing they can make the difference when it matters most. The more Xavi shares about Yamal's early days, the more it feels like this breakthrough didn't happen by accident. He chose the perfect moment for the teenager's debut, with Barcelona leading Real Betis 4-0 against 10 players. Even people on the bench were surprised that a 15-year-old was about to enter a match for one of football's biggest clubs. But Xavi had already seen enough in training. He watched Yamal stay calm in demanding drills, make very few mistakes, and handle pressure in a way that many experienced players would admire. One story stands out more than the rest. Before the UEFA Euro 2024 semifinal, a French player publicly suggested Yamal still had something to prove. Instead of answering with words, the teenager responded on the pitch by scoring one of the tournament's most memorable goals. Xavi says that's exactly what makes him special. The bigger the occasion, the stronger he seems to become. Looking back, Xavi has said he rarely saw Yamal struggle, describing his performances as average at worst, but far more often good or brilliant.
Yamal again, inviting ball, must be! Spain have turned it around! Fabian Ruiz with the header!
More than the left foot, the skill, or the dribbling, Xavi believes it's that fearless mentality that reminds him most of Messi. The confidence, the drive, and the willingness to embrace the biggest moments keep drawing comparisons. That's why Xavi believes that if Yamal were to lift the World Cup, many fans would see the race for the world's best player in a completely new light. Suddenly, Sunday becomes much more than just another football match. It feels like football is witnessing a changing of generations right before our eyes. On one side stands Lionel Messi, now 39 years old, preparing for what many expect to be his final World Cup. He represents the closing chapter of one of the greatest careers the sport has ever seen. On the other side is Lamine Yamal, still a teenager, just beginning his own journey while carrying the hopes of his country and wearing the famous number 10 shirt that Messi once made legendary at Barcelona. It's a remarkable picture. One player represents years of unforgettable memories. while the other represents the excitement of what could still be ahead. As football legend Thierry Henry put it, Yamal is the future, while Messi is the past, the present, and the future, and forever. It's a powerful way to describe two players from different generations meeting on the biggest stage possible. The timing makes the whole story even more unforgettable. One football icon is chasing what could be the perfect ending to an extraordinary career, while a rising young star is trying to create the first defining chapter of his own. Both are fighting for the exact same trophy on the exact same night, making the occasion feel even bigger. Messi himself has spoken about how special the matchup would be. He has described Spain as a team he knows extremely well, filled with Barcelona players he respects, and said he expected a very balanced and high-quality final. Long before reaching this stage, Yamal had also shared his dream, saying, "I'd love to face Messi in a World Cup final." That possibility has only added even more excitement to the occasion. Of course, once the whistle blows, emotion gives way to football. Spain arrive looking like one of the tournament's strongest sides. As the reigning European champions, they have built an impressive run of results, with Luis de la Fuente's possession-based system making them one of the toughest teams to break down. Everything is now set for a match that could become one of the most unforgettable nights in football history. Rodri has been the heartbeat of Spain's midfield, controlling the tempo with calm passing and smart positioning. Spain have looked incredibly solid throughout the tournament, allowing just one goal the entire way. Then there's Lamine Yamal, the player who can change a match in a single moment. With one dribble, one pass, or one shot, he has the ability to unlock even the toughest defenses when the pressure is at its highest. Argentina, meanwhile, arrive as the defending World Cup champions with the chance to add another unforgettable chapter to an already remarkable era. After lifting multiple major international trophies in recent years, this squad knows exactly what it takes to handle the biggest occasions. That experience could become one of their greatest strengths. At 39, Messi doesn't have to control every minute of every game the way he once did. Instead, he has adapted brilliantly, becoming just as dangerous by creating chances for those around him. His vision and passing have continued to make the difference, including 2 crucial assists in the semifinal. His tournament has followed an impressive path. Early on, he was the main goal scorer for Argentina, but as the knockout rounds became tougher, he shifted into the role of playmaker, helping his teammates shine while continuing to lead by example. This Argentina team has earned a reputation for never giving up. Time after time, they have responded when the pressure was highest and found ways to stay alive in difficult matches. Even the experts can't agree on how this final might unfold. Zlatan Ibrahimovic believes Spain's control of possession could decide the game, saying, "I believe Spain is going to dominate that game, because chasing the ball against Spain can quickly become exhausting." Thierry Henry sees it differently. He has admitted he finds this matchup almost impossible to predict because he knows exactly what Messi is capable of producing when the biggest prize is on the line. There is no overwhelming favorite, only 2 outstanding teams, 2 extraordinary stars, and a final that could leave a lasting mark on football history. For Messi, winning would add another unforgettable chapter to an already legendary international career. It would mean back-to-back World Cup titles and another major trophy with Argentina, strengthening one of the greatest football legacies the sport has ever seen. If this truly is his final World Cup, it would be an incredible way to close the story of an icon who has inspired generations around the world. For Yamal, the opportunity is just as extraordinary. Lifting the World Cup as a teenager would be one of the biggest achievements imaginable and could mark the beginning of a brand new era for both him and Spanish football. Xavi has even suggested that a triumph on this stage would launch Yamal straight into the conversation about the very best players in the world. That's how massive this moment could become. One football legend is chasing the perfect ending, while one rising star is chasing the perfect beginning. Only one side can lift the trophy, and that's what makes this showdown feel so special. But if we're being real, Millions of fans aren't watching only for the tactics or the battle in midfield. They're watching because of the story behind it all. Everything traces back to one simple photograph beside a small blue plastic bathtub nearly 2 decades ago. A young Messi, without realizing it, shared a quiet charity moment with a baby who would later grow into one of football's brightest young talents. Years later, the two could find themselves standing on opposite sides of the biggest match in the sport. It's the kind of story that hardly seems possible. No matter how the final ends, this remarkable connection has already captured the imagination of football fans everywhere. Even photographer Joan Montfort, who took that famous picture, summed it up perfectly when he said, "The loveliest part is that in a modern game, so ruled by money and power, this one thing was pure destiny." So when kickoff arrives on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern at MetLife Stadium, football fans could witness a truly unforgettable moment. On one side stands Lionel Messi, one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. On the other is Lamine Yamal, the young star many believe could help shape football's next generation. It's a matchup that feels almost impossible to believe after everything that happened nearly 2 decades ago. Now it's time to decide. Who walks away with the trophy? Does Messi add one more unforgettable chapter to his legendary career? Or does Yamal make a statement by defeating one of the players who inspired him? Drop your prediction in the comments below. We want to hear your pick. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your fellow football fans so they don't miss this incredible showdown. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.